a rustle in the grass, and your heart is racing before you even decide to be afraid. Your body freezes. Your eyes scan. You are calculating odds you never consciously chose to calculate. This is not a glitch in your mind. It is an inheritance, passed down from people who lived and died 200,000 years before you drew breath. Picture the African savanna 60,000 years ago. Tall grass bends in the wind. Somewhere inside it there might be a leopard, or there might be nothing. You have only a fraction of a second to decide, and no way to know for certain which answer is true. Assume nothing where there is danger, and you do not get a second chance. Final, permanent, gone. This imbalance is the entire story. When one mistake costs almost nothing and the other costs everything, evolution does not reward accuracy. It rewards paranoia. In 2009, researchers Kevin Foster and Hannah Coco modeled this exact problem in the Proceedings of the Royal Society, studying how animals, including humans, respond to uncertain signals in their world. Their conclusion was stark. Natural selection favors minds that see connections, even false ones, whenever missing a real threat is more costly than imagining a fake one. Your ancestors' brains were never built to find the truth. They were built to survive the cost of being wrong. This is where pattern recognition begins. Not curiosity for its own sake. Fear sharpened across hundreds of thousands of generations into pure reflex. Psychologist Justin Barrett named this reflex the hyperactive agency detection device. A mind tuned to assume something alive, something intentional, is behind every ambiguous sound. A creak in the dark becomes a footstep. A shifting shadow becomes a predator. Wind through branches becomes something watching. A false alarm costs a moment of adrenaline. A missed predator costs a life and often the lives of the children depending on you. To catch a predator hidden in grass, the brain had to learn subtlety. The particular sway of wind moving through blades. The different, heavier sway of something pushing through low to the ground. One pattern meant nothing. The other meant run. And every ancestor who told the difference correctly lived long enough to pass that sharper brain forward. Generation after generation, natural selection tightened this same circuit, carving pattern recognition directly into the architecture of the human mind. But the skill did not stay locked to predators for long. Spotting order inside chaos proved useful everywhere ancient people looked. Around 40,000 years ago, early humans across multiple continents were already tracking the recurring rhythms of the night sky. Bone fragments marked with lunar tallies, some of the earliest known calendars, count the days between one full moon and the next. Knowing when the rains would arrive, when herds would migrate, when fruit would ripen, meant the difference between hunger and survival. At Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologist Christopher Henshelwood and his team uncovered pieces of ochre engraved roughly 73,000 years ago. Deliberate cross-hatched lines, consistent angles, intentional structure carved long before writing, long before agriculture, long before anything resembling civilization. A mind rewarded for 100,000 generations of finding order does not simply switch off once danger passes. Keep searching, and it begins to search for meaning itself. Picture a small group gathered at the edge of a firelit camp. An elder points toward a cluster of stars and tells the same story told the season before. Children memorize the shapes. They will carry this pattern forward, largely unchanged, for 1,000 years. This was never mere decoration. It was survival information, disguised as culture, held together by a mind still hungry for pattern. Here is the twist most people never expect. The very trait that kept your ancestors alive is the same trait behind superstition, conspiracy thinking, and gambling today. A mind built to assume connection does not stop firing once the leopards disappear. It fires on stock market dips, on lucky numbers, on a slot machine that almost pays out. Foster and Coco's own model predicted this outcome. A bias shaped by ancient survival never vanishes when the stakes change. It simply finds new places to misfire. Think of the moments you have seen a pattern in a string of bad luck and felt certain something, or someone must be behind it. That instinct is not weakness. Your ancestors who ignored patterns rarely lived long enough to learn from the mistake. The ones who saw connections everywhere are the reason you exist at all. That rustle in the grass never truly stopped. It simply moved inside your mind, still running the same ancient calculation, generation after generation, without ever knowing the danger had passed.